Well, welcome everybody again to Astronomy Daily Live. This is a daily live stream every single day, usually starting at 2 hours UTC. And it's just, here we are again, a couple minutes late. So it's like, what is with this? What is with this? It's just, I seem to come up with all the excuses in the world. Really, when it comes down to it, I don't really have any excuses. So I think I'll blame Bobby today. All right, Bobby, is that all right with you?
If it's not me, it's gotta be Uncle Bill.
Gotta be, gotta be. So yeah, nice to see everybody in the chat. Uncle Bill is there. Tom is there. Atta is there. Uh, and there's a new Bill. Hey there, Bill. Nice to see you from Maine. Some from Maine. So yeah, we're about as far away from one another and still in the same country as we can possibly be. Because I'm in southeastern Arizona. So yeah, about as far away as we can be. So cheers. I've got the hydrogen hydroxide (HOH) today again. It's very very calming, uh, really easy to make. Just it's almost always on tap. So this is a pretty fresh batch. So cheers.
Hydrogen hydroxide, the alternative for beer.
El Paso, yeah, El Paso. I think is about 250 miles east of me. Of course, I got to go all the way through New Mexico to get to El Paso. So yeah, but nice to see you there. Hope everything up in Maine is well. This is really really cool. I mean, I've still got a pretty small audience, but I do have some folks around, so that is very very cool. I mean, this is astronomy, so it's supposed to be a universal kind of thing. So yeah, hope everybody's doing well. You know, this is just a fun, casual get together of friends. Um, Pretty much every single day. Once in a while, life events will pull me away, but try to be, consistent. That's I think the most important thing. And beyond that, it's just fun. This is like a virtual porch where we're just sitting around, on our lounge chairs, right? Just talking astronomy for a while, sort of, forgetting about all the other things and just focusing on the universe instead. And always a lot to talk about. Doesn't have to be new stuff, it can be old stuff. Um, yeah, just pretty much whatever. So I've always got topics, but if anybody in the chat or panelists have topics they want to talk about, consider me the host, but not really in charge, right? So if there are some things that you want to talk about, ask things. I'm not doing this live stream to necessarily teach anybody or communicate science. I mean, those things will happen, right? What I'm doing here is I'm sharing a passion. That's all it is. It's a lifelong thing. I've been into astronomy my entire life, and yeah, I mean, my passion for it just keeps getting more and more and more as time goes by. So at this rate, in 20 or 30 years, I'm just gonna be going insane, right? Because as it is, it's like I can think and talk this all day and all night. So yeah, So very, very cool. Oh, okay. So Bill, you're at a Bortle 8. That's pretty much daylight all the time. I think my Bortle, we could look it up, but I think it's oh man, I think I'd have to look that up. It's
What's
it's
Wordle?
very it's very, very, very uh, small. Does the Bortle scale, does it do fractions, or is it just like a 0 through 10? I forget exactly how that goes, but I want to say that uh, the primary reason why I am where I am is because it's dark. That's that's like the biggest thing, the biggest thing. The next biggest thing, which is sort of, you know, here, is that it's quiet, right? So dark and then quiet. So those are my two big things. So yeah, um, I'm surrounded by some of the most major observatories in the world. Um, Mount Graham is to my north that way, um, and I can see the LBT every single day. It's that little white um, eyesore right on top of the mountain there. Um, so that is, you know, depending on your perspective, that is the largest optical telescope in the world right now. Um, Again, you know, it sort of depends on your perspective. To my west, there are three major observatories. The furthest one away to my west is Kitt Peak, um, but then this side of Kitt Peak, also to my west, is Mount Hopkins, where the MMT resides. That's the 6.5 meter scope. Um, and then just north of Tucson is the Mount Lemmon um, observatory. So you know, they don't put these kinds of facilities in light or bright areas. So I'm in a very dark spot. And Bill, our new Bill, um, why are the tides in full moon worse? And see, you know, I uh, I think if I lived uh, near the ocean, right, where I would experience this more, I probably would have thought about this much more, because my thinking is right. My thinking is that the tides are are going to more follow um, whether the moon is close to the Earth or far away, right? So at perigee, when the moon is closest, I would think that the tides would be higher. And perigee, um, and the opposite of that, um, apogee, has really not very much to do with the phase of the moon at all. And what you're talking about is is there seems to be a correlation between the the tides, and I guess when you're saying worse, I think you mean like higher and full moon. And I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure about that. Um, Again, I'd have to look at that data to really see um, what that is, because I'm looking at the data. I'd probably be able to see patterns that I'd be able to correlate. So the so that's sort of a long winded. I don't know. Um, well, and there is a tidal effect from the sun as well. In fact, the 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 gravitational force on on the moon from the sun is twice as much as the gravitational force of the Earth up on the moon. You work out the math, and that's a fact. That's an absolute fact. So yeah, the sun does play a role in tides as well. But I would think that that would be sort of an annular thing, um, as opposed to like a monthly thing or anything else. So yeah, those two things, I would think, would be both playing a role. But Bill, I've heard exactly for a really really long time that it sort of depends on the phase of the moon, and I can't get that into my thick skull because the phase of the moon has nothing to do with how far away it is. So maybe there's something I'm missing there. Um, yeah, I think, Bill, that if we had the data, right? And when I say data, what I think I would like to see is the height of the tide over a series of months, right? So the height of the tide, same time every single day, say, um, and do it every hour. See why not? But you know, just the height of the tide over a few months, because I mean, what I would expect to see is some kind of a sinusoidal thing. Think, think, and if that's the case, then we might be able to correlate that with the position of the moon relative to the Earth, or the phase of the moon, or both. But yeah, I've heard exactly the same thing, and I've been a little bit stubborn about it too, mainly because tides really, um, you know, I, yeah, in truth, the tides, um, you know, the um, the gravity of the moon on the Earth actually does have an effect on everything, right? Doesn't matter where you are. It's just a lot more noticeable near a body of water. So yeah. Let's see.
Now,
Worst waves.
Cosmic, out of my curiosity, how did you get that webcam?
How did I get it?
Yeah,
I went to Walmart and bought it.
better Walmart.
Well, I didn't have much of a choice though. There were two webcams there, so didn't have much of a choice. But this was, the better of the two. So yeah, the other one, unfortunately, I'm going to have to take as a loss. I actually got a hold of eBay, and they investigated it, and was like, well, the post office says it was delivered. So yeah, that sort of sucks. But that's how it goes. That's life.
You should get a ring doorbell.
What's that?
You should get a ring doorbell.
No thanks. That's too much noise. Cheers. So the sun, moon, and Earth are all in the line. So the sun and the moon are both pulling on the Earth in the same direction. Yeah. The new moon. Yeah. Yeah, Tom. I think you might have nailed it. I think you might have nailed it because be and maybe and maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Maybe there's three things going on here um, at the same time. Number one is the relationship between the Earth, the Moon, and the Sun. Right? How those things are lined up. The other relationship is between the Earth and the Moon, right? And how far away the Moon is from the Earth as it goes around the Earth. And then the third one is the relationship between the Earth and the Sun and how close the Earth is to the Sun in its orbit. So Tom, I think you may have nailed it. The one that I ordered, the webcam that I ordered, is lost. Is lost. The postman um, claims to have delivered it, and there's no box anywhere. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to scrape it up um, at a little bit of a loss. You know, I don't sweat those things.
Now,
You know,
Cosmic, did you see a news article about fake prom dresses?
fake what?
Prom dresses, like ball gowns, ball prom dresses.
How can you fake that?
Great tell. But there was
How
that
is that
girl.
possible?
But there was that girl that actually brought a cheap one online. Everything was out of bounds. The stitching was off. The cover was off. She had to end up selling out. She had, end up had to go to the store and shell out more money for a good, legitimate dress.
Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's sort of the era that we're in at the moment is you sort of have to trust a little bit and there are a bunch of creeps out there who are going to take advantage of that trust for sure. So yeah, buyer beware and um, yeah, I think when it comes to a lot of things, this is actually, I mean, I've heard a lot of um, I've heard a lot of stories about problems with the post office, and until now I've never had a lost package, a lost letter, nothing at all. So this is a first, and yeah, I mean it's kind of a bummer. Um, you know, if it if it if it was a more expensive item, I'd probably be a little more upset. But yeah, I'm really not. I mean, it was a little bit of a chunk, but not a major chunk. So yeah, just gonna have to play.
Now, now I did have a lost money order I sent to one time. I sent to a loan company one time, and the post office never found out.
Yeah, I guess it happens, but yeah, this is sort of a first for me. So, hey there, Daniel. How's everything going? Hope everything's good.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
from Australia, right? From Melbourne, right?
I think so. Yeah, yeah. That's what I mean. We're having a worldwide audience here, and it's absolutely great to have this circle of friends coming in sort of a virtual way here and talking astronomy. Now, speaking of astronomy, let's talk astronomy. So, cheers. Yeah, yesterday was a little bit fun. We saw Venus and Jupiter and Saturn and Mars. So that was pretty cool. Hope everybody enjoyed that. I certainly do. That's a lot of
I loved
fun.
it.
Yeah. It's I think as trying to put myself into your shoes, I, I it's probably not as exciting as it is in my shoes. Um, but yeah, I'm glad you like that. I'm definitely wanting to do that once in a while. Yesterday was sort of unique and unusual in two different ways. The first way uh, was that Mars yesterday, more or less, was as close to the Earth as it's going to be. It's now, relatively speaking, it's moving away from us. The Earth is actually, past Mars and is moving away from it now. Um, so that made it great. I guess there's sort of three things. The second thing is that we had Venus and Jupiter and Saturn and Mars. We had four planets up in the same sky, and that's not incredibly rare, but it doesn't happen very often. So that is very, very cool. The third thing that made it really, really great is, look,
Now,
I'm right in the middle of monsoon. So go ahead, Bobby.
have you ever tried like taking a snapshot from your telescope, like 3 snapshots like you always do with your HSTs, and try to colorize them?
That that wouldn't help. At least not with the at least not with the webcam. Now, if I used my CD camera, I actually do have an R and a G and a B filter, red, green, and blue filter. So with that, I actually could. But that's just combining them to make a color picture. That's astrophotography, and that's something I'm not interested in. I'm not interested in taking pretty pictures. I'm interested in collecting scientific data. So one side effect of that would be a pretty picture, but I'd be interested in the actual, red data, green data, blue data, and actually how those measurements compare to one another. Because then you can dive into the science a little bit. Anyway, so the third reason why last night was cool is because it's monsoon here right now, and every afternoon and evening it's raining. I mean, there's clouds and there's rain, but last night it just opened up, and it's like, look, we realize that Mars is really, really close, so we're just gonna, sort of open up a little hole down here in the southwest, and you better take this opportunity. So I did. All right, let's since it's the beginning of the month, I thought that we would go over to Cloudy Nights and check out the events for August of this year and see how far we actually get. So, yeah, Daniel, do you like this new cam? It's wide field, and I actually have a bunch of control. I just have one light on. I used to have a shop light, right there that was on, and it makes it actually pretty bright. But now that I can change the brightness and the contrast and the gain and everything on this, I'm gonna have to. I still sort of have to play with the lighting a little bit, because it's I don't think it's quite nice yet. But at least I'm visible, and wider field of view. That other camera, right, was like a box about like that, right? So now you're seeing a lot more. You're seeing a lot more of the CDs. You got the telescope here. You got the books on the shelves. So yeah, you're seeing a lot more, and I sort of jokingly say, that I hope that there is, you know, nothing visible, that's going to incriminate me in any way. If you ever see anything interesting back there, you can just ignore it. Whatever it is you think it is, it probably isn't. All right, so let's go over to Cloudy Nights. I'm going to share my screen. Now, if you haven't gotten on to Cloudy Nights yet, and you have an interest in all these astronomical things, this is a really, really great site. Now, it is sort of catered towards the amateur, but these, this spans a pretty wide from beginners up to really, really advanced amateurs. So this is definitely a place that you should get into. Let me mute my smartphone there. All right, so let's get into this. So it's just cloudynights.com, right? Sign up is free, and it's a very, very, very active site. I'll just give you an example. Okay, we're going to view the new content. So what it's here, my local time. My local time is 7:29 p.m. I'm on Mountain Standard Time, which means I'm 7 hours behind UTC. So UTC right now is 2:29. So if I subtract 7 from that, that puts me at 19:30, right? It just changed. So that's 7:30 p.m. here. And you can see that these are the things that have just come in the past, let's see, in the past 10 minutes, right? We've had all these posts. So this is a very, very, very active site. And I can say from experience that these folks are really, really nice, really, they know their stuff, really friendly, and lots of really nice stuff, right? If you have any kind of questions or any kind of gear, photographs, anything at all, these guys just eat it up, right? So very, very cool. One of the things that one of the members do a month, this Dave Mitski, right? A pretty decent calendar of events, of astronomical events for each month. So these are really, really great because they give me a chance to talk all kinds of astronomical things without having to come up with anything, because there's so many terms here and so many things you have to think about that it's just great. Okay, cool. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else hadn't picked him up, because these are probably some of the best calendars I've ever seen. And I mean, I've looked at a lot of these, right? So let's get into this. So these, of course, are posted on the first of the month local. So so uh, so they're sort of a day behind us. So we're actually starting on August 2nd. And I guess I was looking through this earlier, and I guess we're moving into a season where we're going to be getting some shadows and some moons of Jupiter transiting the planet, going in front of the planet, and those are pretty exciting and pretty fun. Um, Definitely worth going out and seeing if you can. So as you can see, now they don't say which um, Galilean moons they are, but um, it'd actually be pretty easy to find out. Let's uh, I should we do that? Yeah, let's do that. There's a really nice site. Um, Let me. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to post this. Let's see. Can I get there? Dun, 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 dun. Let's see if I can get there from here. Because what I'll do is I will post this on the Discord, and then I'll pick it up on my laptop. So let me do that. I'm going to post this on the Discord. That. And then we can come over here. This just makes it easy so I don't have to
Now, did
complicated
you like
URL.
listen to the Hearts of Space yet?
Um, from from last week, Bobby, I think I started, but I haven't finished. Is that the dub one? Yeah, I think it's the dub one, and yeah, I think I got through maybe about a quarter of it or a third of it or so. Have you listened to it yet? All of it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Did you like what you heard?
Not that bad.
Not that bad. Yeah, I'm. What I've heard so far, yeah, sounded pretty good. Sounded pretty good. So this is a pretty cool site that I found a while ago. Um, it's maintained by the SETI folks, and what you can do is you can um, punch in a little bit of information here, and it'll create a nice little graphic showing the actual event. See, so this is saying that um, that a double Galilean satellite shadow transit begins at 2018 UTC on the 2nd. So what we can do is we can go over here and we can say 2018 08 02. Is it actually at 2018? Oh, it is. That's kind of funny. Um, let's see. So 2018, 1800, pretty wide field of view. Let's do like 1,000 arc seconds. So we're just going to show Jupiter and its moons. Point of view is just going to be the center of the Earth. We can change that, but it's not going to be much different um, than anybody else. And I like to make this a little bit bigger, this moon enlargement thing. So once you do that, you can hit the render diagram. It will tell you all kinds of stuff, right, as to where these moons are. But this is probably the most interesting piece that you can sort of see. There's Io, right, transiting Jupiter. You can actually see Jupiter's ring, which really isn't visible. I'm going to say no to node of the ring. So we really can't see that ring from Earth. All right, so here we are. So here's Io, here's Europa. Apparently, both of these moons are going to be casting a shadow onto the planet at this time, and that's just the configuration that it's going to have at that time. You can sort of see here at the bottom, August 2nd at 2018. That's what it's going to look like, just like that. So yeah, very, very cool. All right, let's move on. So let's see, nothing's happening on the 3rd. You know, where the moon is relative to certain objects, yeah, I don't find that extremely interesting. I think it's all right, but yeah, it looks like if you're in northern Canada, northeastern Greenland, Scandinavia, you might see the moon occult Juno, which is one of the larger of the asteroids. So that might be interesting. Maybe not. This next event is just a shadowing event on the moon. Takes place every month. So if you don't see it this month, which is called the Curtis Cross, maybe you can catch it next time. Timing is everything on that, though. So you got to get all the shading, all the shadowing right in order to actually see that. So check into that. If that is something you're interested in seeing. My guess is that we can do this, and I'm going to pull up another cloudy night here. I'll bet you that there are pictures of that.
Is there like a Google search result for it?
Say that again, Bobby.
Now, is it possible to do a Google search for Curtis Cross?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to see if anybody in here has sort of posted a recent picture. Look at that. Oh, okay, because I'm looking in the wrong place. I hope. I can't imagine that there wouldn't be anything about that. Uh-huh. Oh. Oh, I don't see any, I guess I don't see any pictures there. I would have thought that it would have been there. So, all right, let's do it. Let's just do a Google search for it. Ching, ching. Paste. Search. Oh, uh-oh. How did I get there? I don't know. I don't know. How did I get there? Huh, that's a little strange. Let's try that again, huh? Curtis Cross. Put it in quotes. And we'll put, oh, here we go. I guess, yeah, let's just do images, I guess. Let's see if we can see it here. So there, I guess that's, oh, okay, there it is there. Got to use your imagination, I guess, a little bit here. I'm not seeing anything there. That's kind of a small picture. Let's look for, is it under settings or tools? I don't remember. Maybe tools, yeah. So let's just look for large. But it's just a sort of a I think on the if you get the shadowing right and everything else, it it pops out. Let's see. Oh, I see it there. So this is actually from Cloudy Nights. So I don't know why it didn't pop up on their search, but okay. Thanks, Uncle Bill. Hard to see, but there it is. So you just got to be at the right place at the right time, and there it is. That's the Curtis Cross. But I would say, I mean, just sort of an educated guess that you've got to be pretty close to observing it at that time. If you're, I don't know, a couple hours off either way, you may not see it. You may not see it. So okay, so on the 6th at actually 2 hours UTC, Venus is moving down in declination. So at that time, it's going to acquire a negative declination. It's not incredibly exciting. Moon is what, 9 degrees away from the Pleiades. That's not incredibly exciting either. Here's another double transit. So another possible occultation of the moon of Aldebaran by the moon. Let's see. So the Pallas is in conjunction with the Sun on the 7th. That means it's from our vantage point, it's going to be on the other side of the Sun. So we might be able to see that actually with the SOHO solar telescope. Maybe. So Uranus is stationary in terms of moving east and west. So, and it begins its retrograde motion. Again, the moon being relatively close to a cluster, not incredibly interesting. Mercury at inferior conjunction, so that means that it is between the Earth and the Sun. So that happens on the 9th. So actually, I would say in just a couple of days, we should be able to start seeing Mercury on SOHO. So yeah, we should. I don't think that we can see it yet. I was looking at that earlier today, but I wasn't seeing it quite yet. They have this instrument called a LASCO, which I don't quite know what that stands for. It's some kind of an acronym, of course, but it's this. There's actually two of them. There's a wide field and there's a narrower field, and it's just they put a coronagraph in front of the sun, to block out its bright light, and that allows us to see, the structure of the outer corona, but we can also see all these background stars too. We can see all kinds of other stuff too, cosmic rays, um, protons, um, alpha particles from the sun, all kinds of noise and everything. But here's sort of the arm that's holding the chronograph in place. Now, that chronograph isn't this large blue spot here. It's probably a smaller thing, but there's all kinds of optical effects and everything that is just going to make it look really nasty and messy here. So I think in software, they just sort of block all that out and indicate where the sun actually is. But all this stuff is quite real, and it changes moment to moment almost. You know, it's a gradual thing, but very, very cool. So yeah, I think Mercury should be coming in from this side, but so far I'm not seeing it. It should be getting pretty darn close though, because if it's going to be at inferior conjunction on the 9th, and that actually happens at 2 hours UTC as well. So we can sort of celebrate that in a week. But yeah, I'm not seeing it quite yet, but that should start to pop in here pretty soon. And I think what this thing was saying was that it's actually, yeah, the most southern it's going to be for quite a while. So yeah, it's actually, 7 degrees. Wow. We may not see it. You know what? Because the sun is about half a degree, right? So from say center to here is about half a degree. So out to here, so from here to here is about 1 degree. And if they're saying that it's going to be 7 degrees south of that, that's like 1, 2, 3. Ooh, I don't know if we're going to see it in this or not. Stay tuned. I'm thinking maybe we're not going to see it. That's pretty far south, right? Because by definition, the ecliptic goes right through the center of the sun, right? There's sort of an invisible line here that I'm drawing. This is the ecliptic. And if Mercury is going to be 7 degrees below that, I guess we're not going to see it on that. Oh, well. So there's another transit, double transit on the 9th at 2213. Very cool. Lots of double transit events. So, you know, if you're into those kinds of things and have the capability of doing some photography, give it a try. I would say, you know, keep an eye out on social media. I'll bet you there's going to be lots of pictures. And I'm thinking that those things are happening now. But it's definitely picking up a little bit, for sure. Okay, so on the 10th, this ascending node just means that it's crossing the celestial equator. So its declination is now positive and going to be going up. There's a descending node too, which is when it crosses the celestial equator on its way south. So it just so happens that on the 10th at 1342 UTC, it's going to be heading north at that point. Oh man, I need to remind myself exactly what minimum libration is. Libration has to do with there's a the moon more or less is tidally locked to the Earth. So one rotation of the moon takes about as long as one revolution of the moon around the Earth, but it's not exactly right. and that's what libration is. I wonder if we can do a quick. I wonder if there's like a little movie that can illustrate libration. Let's find out. Because there is no way that I'm going to be able to accurately describe what libration is, but if I had a little movie, I probably could. Moon phase and libration. Let's see if this at all. Maybe. We'll find out here. There we go. So you see how we basically see the same face of the moon, right? We're seeing the same, but you see how it sort of is wobbling, and it's wobbling in many dimensions, right? It's not just like a two-dimensional wobble, it's a three-dimensional wobble, and that's libration. I don't like in there. Let's see if we can find another one of. Now they're all going to do that. Okay, that's cool. So that sort of gives you an idea, right? The moon is wobbling, and instead of calling it wobbling, some fancy schmancy astronomer, came up with this term libration that makes it sound technical and important. And I just think it's very, very cool. So what's this saying? Displays minimum libration for the year, 0.08 degrees. I'm gonna have to investigate that a little bit more to know exactly why that's such a big deal. So, all right. Let's see. Also on the 10th, moon's at perigee. That's its closest approach to the Earth this orbit, right? Perigee, that happens every single month where you have a closest approach. You also have the opposite of that, which is apogee, which of course is the furthest away it is. And because it's close, its apparent size is pretty big, 33 arc minutes across and 358,000 kilometers away, which is just a little bit less than the distance between Jupiter and Io. Just FYI. So that happens at 1807 UTC on the 10th. Very cool. Perigee is always very, very cool. And perigee definitely plays into tides for sure. But yeah, I think you guys are right. There's sort of a beat pattern that is happening between phase, which is the position of moon, Earth, Sun, orbit of the moon, which is perigee, apogee, and also position of the Earth relative to the Sun. I think those three things play into it for sure. Yeah, and I noticed that Bill, Uncle Bill, just posted what looks like a bunch of interesting things happening on the moon. Very cool. Thanks, Uncle Bill. Uncle Bill is the ninja, doing 100 things at the same time, all extremely well. All right, let's see if we can get through the rest of this. It's unbelievable that it's already almost been an hour, and we're not even halfway through the month. um, so yeah, pretty close to Mercury. Yeah, not incredibly exciting there. Um, Partial eclipse again for looks like a lot of Europe, Northern Europe, most of Russia. So that's very, very cool. And of course, that coincides with new moon when the moon is directly between the Earth and the sun. Very cool. So probably one of the most exciting things that happens in August is the peak of the Perseid meteor shower. And that, of course, is happening pretty soon, a couple weeks out. Um, Not really great, I don't think, for the moon. It's not too bad, right? If new moon is on the 11th, then actually, that's going to be a pretty good shower. So yeah, definitely look into that a little bit more. What you want is to observe these meteors anytime after your local time, midnight. So definitely check that out on, from like August 11th through maybe, the 13th or the 14th. That's sort of the peak. And you could see upwards of, they're saying like 150 per hour. So I don't think with the Perseids I've ever seen that many. I've seen, 60 an hour. Once a minute, yeah, that's pretty normal or so. So if you haven't seen a meteor shower yet, definitely get out and observe that. It's one of the very, very cool things. You don't need a telescope. You don't need binoculars. Really, it's all you need is like a lounge chair to be able to lay out nice and flat and see most of the night sky. If you can do that, then you are golden, and you'll see lots of nice meteors. The Perseids are a pretty good shower. They're pretty slow, relatively speaking, and not much of a color. They, at least all the ones I've ever seen, have been pretty white, and usually have some pretty good trails. So if you can get out onto a dark site, it's pretty cool. So definitely check out the Perseids. Those are going on. They'll kick up, as I said, probably starting around the 10th or 11th. And according to this, at least, they're supposed to peak around 1 hour UTC on the 13th or so. And I would say that's a pretty accurate prediction. They've got these things nailed down pretty well now. But, there can always be some surprises. These meteor showers are caused by when the Earth actually moves through this path of debris, which is being laid down by comets. So we're actually crossing the orbit of a comet, and yeah, there, that comet, of course, therefore has our name on it, right? But it's, not going to happen anytime soon. Otherwise, we probably have heard about it by now. So yeah, most meteors that we see are like the dust on your on your um, on your furniture, right? It's just very, 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 very fine grains of dust. Um, maybe maybe the brighter ones are like pieces of sand or very, very, very small um, pieces of gravel. Um, Bigger ones like bolides and the bright ones and all that. That's when they start getting marble size and bigger. Um, but most of the meteors that you see are like just grains of dust, right? Very, 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 very small. But they're traveling so fast that as soon as they hit the atmosphere, bango, they vaporize. And that's what we see as a meteor. And as Uncle Bill said, this is a team event. It's really hard to, even laying flat out on your back, right? It's really hard to monitor the entire sky. So yeah, it's really, really great, to get a couple of friends. If if you can get four of you, to sort of watch a quarter of the sky each, you've got it made. You've got it made, and it's a lot of fun, right? And those minutes go by really slowly when you're waiting. For sure, for sure. Okay, so, so yeah, um, Perseids, that happens every year, same time. And the great thing about this year is that the moon isn't really going to be around. I mean, it's going to be pretty close to being new, right? It's new on the 11th, and the peak is going to be on the 13th. So, yeah, I mean, we're going to have some nice dark skies for that. So, yeah, get out there. As I said, the best time is after midnight local time, and the reason is, um, if you can kind of imagine, the Earth is rotating, right? And once you pass the midnight hour, you're going to be actually spinning into that um, trail of dust. So you'll actually see them better, but you'll start to see them as soon as it gets dark. So you don't have to wait until um, after midnight. It's just better if you do. But that isn't always convenient. And most things in astronomy are sort of the furthest from convenience that it can possibly be. Hey there, we've got somebody new in the chat. I am not even going to try to pronounce any of that. But hi, I see you there. Benisa, can I do that? Nice to see you there in the chat. Welcome, welcome. We're just going through all the events, all the astronomical events that are going to be happening in the month of August. It's the beginning of the month. So, let's take a look and see. I don't think I'm going to get through all of this though, because wow, it's already 3:06 UTC. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. We're not even sort of halfway through the month here. Let's see. Should I keep going? You know what? I think I'm going to hold off, and we could finish this another time, because I'm sort of mindful of the time. At least I try to be, and I try to keep this to about an hour. Um, that's one of the cool things about doing a live stream, is that I don't feel rushed to have to try to pack in a lot of information and trying to hurry. That is the one thing. I don't hate anything uh, except for one thing, and that is hurrying. I hate to hurry. I like this to be fun, casual, laid back, just enjoy ourselves for, you know, an hour-ish or so. And I'm noticing that we are over an hour. So, you know, let's cover this another day. No worries. No worries. And as Uncle Bill just said, guaranteed material for tomorrow. so yeah, always material. Always material. Um, I got onto Skylius's Twitch stream earlier today. She was doing all things Carl Sagan, and it's like, took the day off today, so I was home, I was here, and it's like, oh, she's going to be doing Carl Sagan. I can't miss that. So that was really fun. Um, yeah, except for being a couple of minutes late. Uh, and that's probably why I'm always a little bit late. Not always, but once in a while I am, because it's like I refuse to hurry. It's like, whenever I get there, I get there. And if I'm a couple of minutes late, no sweat, no sweat. Definitely check out Skylius on Twitch. Uncle Bill, if you've got that link really quick, put it up in the chat, put it up on the Discord. She's awesome. She's absolutely awesome. Pretty different than what you're used to in terms of science and astronomy, but yeah, she's growing on me. At first, I was sort of like, but no, I think that approach is really great. I sort of want to be, not quite Skylius and not quite formal, like many of the other astronomical podcasts. I want to fill that space in between there a little bit. So yeah, thank you, Uncle Bill. There we go. If you don't know about Twitch or anything like that, check that out. She comes on pretty often. And if you subscribe or follow her, I forget exactly what the terminology is over there, you'll get a notification when she goes on. I haven't really paid any attention if she's on any kind of schedule or anything. She probably is, and I just don't notice. To me, she sort of randomly comes on whenever she wants, but maybe not. Maybe not. I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, definitely check Skylius out. She's great. Has a big following. She'll get well over 100 viewers at the same time, and it's something that I aspire to. If I ever do, not too worried about that. My thing is share the passion, have a little bit of fun, spend a little bit of time just thinking astronomical things. All right, I'm going to get out of here for today. Thanks, everybody, for coming in. And yeah, that is her full-time job. So pretty amazing, that somebody can do that. I think we've just sort of are seeing the beginning of something. I don't know what it is. I don't know exactly what we're doing here, but it is definitely the beginning of something extremely interesting. And yeah, who knows where this goes? Who knows? But for now, I'm going to get out of here because, oh yeah, yep, I'm getting the call. I'm getting the call from the mothership, so I've got to get just off of this planet for a while. Definitely. It's too heavy. It's too heavy. I'm used to 0 G. So, all right, you guys, thanks for coming in. And, you know, if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to all the new folks. Hit the subscribe button. You can hit the notifications too. But as I said, I am here every single day, 2 hours UTC. You have to adjust for your time zone, but I will let you do that because, you know, that's a good exercise. It's a good entry point into astronomical thinking. Being able to measure time is fundamental to astronomy. You have to know what time it is and how it's measured. So figure out exactly what that time is for your location, or just hit the notification bell and you will be informed. Informed. All right. Very, very cool. Yeah, I think having sort of a regular, reliable time, I think that's pretty important. So that's why I sort of chose this time, and I'm going to stick to it. If I make any changes at all in the future, it's going to be expansion, right? I'm going to do this at this time for sure, right? Um, if I'm having a telescope session, like in the middle of summer as it is now, maybe I'll change that a little bit. So I'll have some dark time, but other than that, this time is not going to change. I may add a time in the future. I'm still looking at, you know, like 1400 UTC to cover all my friends in Europe who right now, you know, have to be up at just, you know, 3 a.m. local time is just not nice. I mean, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. So I don't expect any of them to do that either. And the fact that they do, I think that's absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. All right. Now, for sure, I'm going to get out of here. So I will see you all tomorrow on the spin. It's one rotation of this whole planet around. Now, that's a dizzying thought, but I've observed that it's pretty smooth, and I don't really notice it all that much. So, but just in case, you know, hold on to your hats, and I will see you on the spin a little less than 23 hours from now. Bobby, I will see you also. Come onto the panel anytime you want, and that's an open invitation to you all. If you want to be a member of the panel with Bobby here, just send me an email, cosmiclettuce@gmail.com, and when I start up the Hangout, I get a little link, and I will send you that link. You don't have to do a video. If you just want to do audio, that is perfectly fine too. So yeah, you know, just send me an email, and I will send you the link when I start. So
Yes.
for now,
So,
I'm going to get out of here. So all right, take care, everybody. Peace, cheers, and all that. I will see you later. Bye.
sure.